I'll never mistake the way you give me my faith. My body feels safe in your hands.
Welcome along. It is season 6, round 3 of our Wednesday night championship. We are in the Redbull ring, and it is a beautiful sunny qualifying at the minute. Pro-Ams are out first, so let's see how these guys do here this evening. And looking like it's going to be interesting. Ben Shawley is making his reappearance now. He was, of course, a very big part of last season's racing with the TTM team, and it's only himself representing TTM this season. And yeah, this is his first race back, so good to see him back. Good to see an old face from last season back in. And he should be looking to put on a bit of a challenge. Of course, with the drop around in, he still has a chance for possibly fighting for maybe the top 3 positions. We'll see how that goes. Of course, then Liam Smit out there as well. And behind him, that looks like one of our own. I would assume that is one of the polycots. We've got Barry Dunn and then Terry Dunn. So Barry is joining Terry, so that'll be interesting to see. Then Simone Vernies out there as well, doing a very good job. Of course, last week done very well. Anonymous Rat had an unlucky race last week in the sprint side of things anyway, so, or even actually on Wednesday where he got took out of it as well. So be interesting to see how he gets on tonight. And then Chris Polycott behind Liam at the minute. So Chris getting a bit of a toe. I don't know if you don't want to be that close under qualifying because they do only have 10 minutes. Then we've got Augusto Jr. and then Stanek as well is out there. So let's see, Augusto Jr. goes over the line for provisional pole at the minute in terms of the Pro-Ams, a 1:28.860 at the minute. Then it's Ben Shawley from Terry Dunn from Liam Smit. Next, let's see as they come in. We're going to stand with Augusto Jr. here. Though it looks like Rat and Polycott maybe having a bit of a race, as Vernies then goes into P5. So waiting to see then how does Terry Dunn do. Although he looks like he's only starting. So let's see where Anonymous Rat goes. Or Wrath. So Anonymous there straight up onto pole by a few tenths as well. Thomas Stanek here only onto his lap as well. Super interesting there. So where's Terry Dunn now? And I would have to say, if you watched the stream on Friday night, it was unbelievable race. And if you haven't, go and watch it. Just that sprint race provided such great action. And my highlight was definitely Chris Tedder and Aaron Holloway pushing hard, and then Aaron actually forced Chris into a mistake. It was just a really enjoyable battle. Dominic Giese as well, or Giese, doing a great job as well. We're going to stay on with Terry Dunn, let him finish his lap and see where he gets on with these. Then Chris Polycott and Stanek out there looking to set a lap as well. For Terry Dunn though, his first lap, where is he going to land himself here? Going around the last corner takes as much curb as you dare, and of course the BMW is heavily bopped here, 26 kilos added to it with the car that it is. And up into P5 Terry goes. Anthony Ferrante out there now as well. So let's see where Anthony goes. Of course he is spotting a brand new livery here today, and he's changed it around in terms of the colour scheme, and it absolutely looks amazing. So fair play to him, it looks super. So he's slowing down to let Liam by. Let's see where Chris Polycott's going now. of course, a supercharged motorsport driver. We'll keep an eye on with him. We'll get back on then with the main top 9, 10 people then afterwards. We've 10 pro-ams in here this evening. The rest are all just 26 pros in then. So yeah, this is going to be a good race. I really, as I say, enjoyed Friday's battles. So let's see how tonight goes. So let him come around there and let's see where he ends up. Chris, at least he has a bit of a toe there as well, so that's actually grand for him. Be nice to see. So grand. Gets around the last corner now. So where does Mr. Polycock go? That was an invalidated lap, was it? Yeah, it was. Okay. Let's go back to him in a little while once he gets a time done. We're on now at Vernies, who is in P4. Not majorly improving just yet. Anthony Ferrante, actually, where is he in all of this? So he's only getting going now. Polycott already has overcut it. He needs to just maybe take turn 1 a little bit easier, and he should be fine. Augusto Jr. though jumps back ahead of Anonymous there by 0.015 of a second there. 128.332 for Augusto Jr. Anonymous Wrath is in the pits, and I think he might have time to get out for one more lap. Mr. Dunn then next. So Barry making his debut tonight, and already up in P3 in the Pro-Am category. Then Vernies P4, Ben Shawley in Team 5. But I'd say Ben did say he hadn't raced in a little while, so this will be interesting to see how he is coming back into this one. Terry Dunn then behind him with Liam Smit there. Liam will be improving for sure. Oh, gets a bit sideways, holds onto it though. I'm assuming there still is a bit of a jump up there from, is there? No. So, okay, he needs to start now. Stanek is only up a 1/10 of a second at the minute. Needs to find a bit more time than that if he's going to be looking to try and jump up a position there. So Anonymous has decided that's it. He's not going to be going out again. Okay, so Augusto Jr. is not improving this lap so far. Barry is improving, and Barry Dunn is only 0.040 off these guys, so Barry just needs one really good corner to make a difference here. Now, when I say he's improving, he's literally on the green slightly. Vernies on the green slightly. Liam Smit, though, is up a few tenths of a second. He's 45 seconds into his lap. We'll jump on with him. He's after finding 4 tenths there now. That's more like a Limo. I think he's just finding his rhythm there. Nicely done around that corner there. And through the S's, you can gain a lot of time here by being patient and then taking the correct line, stopping any sideways action. Liam's gained a bit of time there, so he's obviously done a bit better. He's run very wide on the exit, which is fine. Nice wide exit. Entrance in, he's done good there. He's done massively good in terms of time, and he doesn't go sideways as well. I'm expecting that time to move up more. So for Liam Smit, about half a second of an increase there. Boom, up to P5 he goes. And he still has time for one more lap as well. So this is it. So Vernies will have a chance at one more lap. So a few of these guys will have a chance. Once it gets to 10 minutes, they will not be able to. Stanek's up a nice bit of time here. So Augusto Jr. still on provisional pole, not improving though. I'm thinking that's him done and dusted. It is. Terry Dunn out there still trying his best. Vernies can do one more lap. He's within the 20 seconds of that cut off. I'm assuming that we're going to see a few of the pros starting to stack up. We do indeed. The pros did ask this, so we'll be keeping an eye on that as well as they are stacking up to go. Once that hits the 10-minute marker, they can go. Yeah, that's it, done and dusted. So Barry's given up. Ben Shawley is out there. One last attempt. This is a last-ditch effort for all these drivers. That is it then. So Vernies has given up. So Ben Shawley is improving. Liam Smit is improving. Terry Dunn is improving. Polycott unfortunately isn't, but great lap. We got one on the board and it's put him up in P5 provisionally in his split, which is a very, very good effort. It's track limit heavenless, so I think he'll probably give up on this one soon enough if he's not improving time wise. Liam Smith's jumped up back into P5, and that's Liam done and dusted with this session. Ben Shawley, Chris Polycott is now done, so Ben Shawley's the last of the Pro-Ams. He's up at 10th. This could be provisional pole for Ben Shawley. Oh, beautifully done, beautifully done. But he's lost a lot of time. Oh, he was up time, now he's down. No, that's it. Ben Shawley's in the pits. Now we're on now with the pros. And you know what? From all this stacking, they're going to be absolutely on top of each other. Yeah, I knew it. This is going to be painful. Absolutely painful for some of these. To be honest, that looked like... Who was that out first? It wasn't Porkashoff, no. It was a Ford, so I would assume that was Pavlov. Would I be right in saying? I'm pretty sure Pavlov was the first. Dominic Guise just behind him, and then Florian Leroux. Or Lacroix. Florian Leroux, I don't know why I was thinking Leroux. Florian Lacroix. So Constantine there for the next level, LVL Play Racing. And then, do you know what? Morris gave himself a nice gap there as well behind. Glenn Smith out there. Stuart Pryor still in the pits, the madman. Maybe looking to try and get a gap. Possibly. But the good thing is, at least for the pro drivers, they do get it with a little bit of a rubbered in track. So let's see where Constantine will go on the board. That Ford sounds amazing. So I think Pavlov is going to be the first to cross the line. Yeah, and a 1:28.160 for his first lap in. We're going to start getting laps, I'd say, quite hot in from a few of these guys now. As Glenn Smith goes P9, Usmanov P10. I think the Sawinski then, so Matthias then up in P6. Porkashov up into P1 at 1:27.78. Then Vining goes P2, with coming in thick and fast now. Then we've got Krupzezi in P12. Then we have Giuseppe Castellano now jumping up into P2 at 1:27.9. Then we have Spatuzzi in P5. Will he stay in P5? Then we've got Craig Hewlett in P12. Then Usmanov P18. Langley P19. There's plenty more out there on laps. So let's see how we get on. And was that another one jumping up? Possibly was. It's changing every 2 seconds. Aaron Holloway P16. Sigorio then in P92. Oh, he's got in the way of Tedder, I think. Oh, wow. That was a little bit unnecessary. Dominic Guise is looking to start a lap. I'm going to jump on with Morris here. Where does Morris put himself in all of this craziness? Up into P5 for Morris there. Not a bad start. I know there'll be a bit more to come. So Glenn Smith, Dominic Guise goes up into P13 there with that last lap. I think traffic is definitely a thing here this evening, as Krupzezi then gets up into P9 in the Nissan. Fair play to him. And then we have a new driver, Redfern. Matt Redfern for Big Brain Racing is in P5 there now at the minute. Welcome in with Big Brain Racing. I know they're quite a good community as well. I know Amigos have affiliation with them, so good to see the guys in. Looking down further, John Dudley in P27 at the minute. I'm sure there's going to be improvement from John. Andy Potticut then P29. So Tether, Pryor, Nathan, Ryan, and Florian yet to set a time. Oh, look at this. Young now gets up onto P1. He is what, 0.057 ahead of Pavlov. Porkchav has dropped down into P3. Castellano P4. Voinen P5. The top 24 are split by less than a second. The nature of just this track being such a fast and short track, mad to see these kind of differences. So Ryan O'Sullivan, of course, last week's race winner, with a great drive, great strategy, and it worked out very well for him. Let's see how he gets on today. So this is going to be his first time lap. Let's see how he gets on then through the chicane. He doesn't let it run as wide as some of the drivers let it run really wide on that curb as well. And Ryan, you actually need to upload your livery, mate. Going around the last corner, nice bit of curb, not enough though to unsettle him. Oh, he ran wide on the exit of that corner, it's not going to count. Oh, it was the exit that got him there. Porkashov though jumps back straight up onto P1 with a 127.510, 2.5 tenths clear of Spatuzzi. Then Daryl Young's in the pits. Morris Bhutan up into P4. Pavlov now P5. Glenn Smith up into P6. Then we have Sagaro in P7. Castellano now P8. Voining P9. Redfern P10. Hewlett P11 and Giese P12. Rukubzezi in P13. Holloway 14. And then a few of the Pro-Ams. You've got Augusto from Matt, from Dunn, from Shawley. And of course, some of these guys are trying to improve. Ryan is out there improving. Let me see who's close to an end of a lap at the minute. Craig Hewlett's up a little bit of time there. We'll keep an eye on that. Oh, Castellano's up a chunk here. This could be provisional pole for Castellano. He's given it literally everything. This will be a nice lap if he's able to hold on to it. Oh, he runs wide at the last second. He was up nearly 6 tenths. That would have been provisional pole by quite a margin. He knows he has the pace in. He's essentially has 2 more tries at it. Oh, he's given up. Maybe not enough fuel on it. That would be heartbreaking for Castellano there. That was a tough one. So Spatuzzi out there improving slowly but surely. Let me see anyone far back. Dudley up about half a second at the minute. Gets a nice exit there. Keep it nicely. He does. So he should jump up possibly. Yeah, up into P14. A nice jump there for Dudley. Fantanozzi jumping up and out as well. Where does he go? P19. Let me jump down further. So Ryan O'Sullivan has not got time to get a lap in. Nathan Warren needs to get himself a lap in as well. He's not really set a lap that will be representative of Nathan. So it looks like he's got a Ferrari ahead. Then Florian as well really needs to get something going here. The guy's very massively off the pace in terms of where you'd expect him to be. So Morris Bhutan is his last ditch effort. Seguro will be able to get one more lap in if he has the fuel. He's up a little bit of time here, but with the racing being this close, any little bit of time will make a huge difference. He lost it on the last corner though, so he's one more shot at it. Then Matthias has one more go. John Dudley though on a nice lap here. I might say he should have a chance. No, he won't have a chance. This will be his last lap. I would assume he's up a nice chunk of time again. Go on, Duds. He might make it. He might make it for one more lap. He's going to. He does, and he gets himself up as well, up into P6. John Dudley, what a lap in that Nissan. As I say that, Daryl Young then just jumps ahead of him. Fantanozzi, sorry, jumped ahead of him there. So Daryl Young is finished. Morris Bhutan not improving. Pavlov is improving. Pavlov, P2 for Pavlov. It's all kicking off here. Cigaro now up a bit of time. Let's see what he does. Also up a bit of time is Langley. Chris Tedder's up time. Polycott's kind of in and out of time. Nathan Warren does he improve? No. Wow, that's the biggest shock for me is Warren and Ryan massively out of position there. So let me see. Cigaro find any time he was green a few tenths. Now he's down to 0. Can he improve in the last corner? He's after taking that with some speed. Not really going to improve by anything, I think, to get a position. Unfortunately for him, no, he doesn't. And Giuseppe Castellano, I'm not sure if he got to start a lap this time. Maybe he did. Maybe I'm not going crazy. If he did, and he's up 7 tenths, that's provisional pole for him. Although on the exit, he's lost it. And Castellano gets up in the P2. Wow. Whew. That is it, guys. So just to make that clear, the top 22 ended up 1 second apart. The top 3 covered by less than 2 tenths of a second. Then the top 10 is actually less than half a second. That's absolutely crazy. I'm hoping for some epic racing here this evening. And of course, the wild cards at the back, you've got Nathan Warren, you have Pryor and Ryan O'Sullivan. And Chris Tedder as well, definitely not the performance I expected from him. So I'm just wondering, is it a setup related thing for him as well? He was saying he wasn't feeling in terms of pace where he was. He's just not able to find the pace. So should be interesting to see. Now, just doing a few messages there. I see him being tagged and stuff. Okay, that's Red Bull ring. That's fine. Ben Charlie completely bottled that. Ben, but still, that's for a lad who bottled it for not racing quite a time, getting P4 in your split. Nothing too shabby about that at all. Let's be honest. So looking now, yeah, that's been a very impressive qualifying there with so much happening. I'm just going to run, of course, now our usual sponsor stuff. I didn't run at the start of the stream. I just think it's easier just to get straight into the action and do it in the little wait between. So we'll have a look at both and we'll be back then. Yeah, so we're just waiting for the server to load up onto the next part and then we'll jump into that, guys. So, yeah, that's absolutely crazy, to be honest. Absolutely crazy. Show you the bop, actually. That might be something interesting for you guys. So, the Ferrari has a minus 18 kg. Then the Ford actually has 5 kilos added, but the BMW plus 26 kilos added. That's crazy. Plus 3 added to the Nissan. So the Nissan's actually quite OP here, in fairness. The McLaren gets plus 22 kilos. The Mercedes gets 9 kilos added. Minus 16 then for the Porsche. Plus 8 then for the Lamborghini. What else is out there that I haven't mentioned yet? Or is it all the same? Minus 21 for the Aston Martin as well. Yeah, it's crazy. But yeah, we'll do the usual. We'll go through all the drivers. I just need to get a few things lined up so I'm not going mad. So, with so many drivers here this evening, it's going to be hard to get all of this done. So, that'll do. Right. Why isn't it letting me go to drive? I know why. Anyway, let me see. I'll go through it anyway, even though the chat stuff is in the way. No, it's not letting me. So I'm just going to go through the grid order and talk about it. So that's all I can do at this stage. It's my own fault for not pressing drive and leaving it on drive. So pole position is for Porkashov with Giuseppe Castellano in P2, Pavlov then in P3 with Morris Boutin in P4. Glenn Smith gets up into P5. Spatuzzi is in P6 with Fantanuzzi in P7. Darryl Young in P8, Dudley in P9, Sogaro in P10, with Foyning then in P11 with Matthias in P12, with Redfern in P13, with Costa in 14, Craig Hewlett in 15th, Dominic Isa in P16, Kribzezi in P17, Florian Lacroix in P18. Then we have Aaron Holloway in P19, and then it's Augusto Jr. in the Pro-Ams in P20, Anonymous Rat then in P21, just behind him with Barry Dunn in P22 and Ben Shawley in P23. So that's the first four of the Pro-Ams there all together in 2 rows. That'll be quite interesting. Then we have Ewan Langley in P24. Then we have Liam Smit in P25. Usmanov is in P26 with Tedder in P27. We've got Chris Polycott in P28 with Andy Polycott in P29. Stuart Pryor is in P30. Terry Dunn is in P31. Then we've got Stanek in P32. Anthony Ferrante in P33. Nathan Warren in P34. Ryan O'Sullivan, for some crazy reason as well, with Nathan, is in P25. And then Bernays is in P20 or 36. Sorry. And that actually brings out the whole grid. So, yeah, it's going to make for some interesting racing. The Pro-Ams are fairly close together, but some of the pros really struggling. Whether it's setup related or what, I don't know. But it's going to be a very, very, very interesting race. Of course, there's one mandatory pit for qualifying or for the race, which is fuel only. There's no time limit on fuel. They can throw in a litre if they want, or as much as they want. They can do tyres if they want to do. That's entirely up to them. There is no pit window. So if they get involved in on the first lap, get in and do it. I know a lot of leagues do a pit window where you have 5 minutes before you can pit and stuff like that. We just don't do it because I see that if you do get, unfortunately, in an accident on the first lap, you don't want to be suffering for a lap or two with heavy damage. I want to encourage people racing and making it to the end instead of just feeling, oh, do you know what, I'm going to lose a lot of time before the pit window opens. There's no point. So it's that kind of stuff that I'm trying to deter. Yeah, we have a really good event set up for the 15th of September. It's going to be a 3-hour race in Bathurst, but it's mixed grid GT2s, GT3s, and GT4s. It is live on SimGrid now. We already have 6 or 7 sign-ups. And of course, that's going to increase until we get full. And just don't forget, though, there is only 30 GT3s, 20 GT3s, then there are 15 GT2s slots, and then 15 GT4 slots. So make sure you register and get the car that you want to before numbers do wind down. So yeah, should be quite interesting to see. Ryan O'Sullivan in the Discord. That qualifying was a disaster. Last the first challenge. Let's do this. I like his I like his confidence. It's quite a tough one to do, although it's a short enough track here, so it is possible. So yeah, it should be interesting. Grand job. I'm just looking at the last few bits there. So look, guys, I'm just going to get a quick drink because it's literally 10 seconds to go before we get into the race. So sit back and enjoy what's going to be an absolutely banger of a race. And we have the cars moving, lining up, ready to go, of course. It is a very, very short run to the start of the race. We don't run a full lap quali or full out lap on this. So we're going to go straight in. Some beautiful looking liveries here this evening. And we're going to start doing a livery of the week or photo of the week award and that as well. So guys, I encourage us after the race, get in some good clips. We're going to start encouraging an awful lot of stuff. There is a survey in the Discord at the minute. I encourage all community members. It's in the welcome area. You'll see the survey channel. Please, if you have time, do that little survey. as we're about to get going and underway here this evening. And that's it, lights off. Porkashov from Castellano. Castellano has the inside line though. Then behind him you have Bhutan and Pavlov there. Oh, there's cars about 5 wide behind. I already see one car spinning a little bit there. Oh, Konstantin effect there. I don't know what's happened. That's Dominic Giese. And it looks like a Artemis Manov. And that looks like a Porsche as well mixed in with that. Wow, that's not a good start at all for some of these guys. Chris Tedder, unfortunately, just had to stop and get out of that. We'll try and get some replays on that now in a minute. But we're looking here as Porkashov from Castellano from Pavlov. Pavlov putting the pressure on early on as well. That looks like Glenn Smith then in P5 fighting away with these, kind of sitting with the guys. Morris Bhutan going to run on the inside there. Castellano keeps on the inside, but that puts Pavlov onto the outside. Pavlov uses a bit of line, and away he goes back further than Fantanuzi is racing quite hard with Young ahead. Then you've got Spatuzzi, Sagaro, Samanaski, and then that's John Dudley swapping positions there. And Red Farm then next for Big Brain Racing, Holloway, Augusto Jr. And going back down to see what happened with Veronese. Ryan O'Sullivan, those gained up plenty of positions there up into P29, somehow able to avoid all that. Chris Foyne done very well. Tedder is starting to push his way back up through. That looks like Stuart Pryor losing a few positions. Dominic Giese under heavy damage. I'm assuming he's going to go into the pits early. He does indeed, which he is dead right to do. Get it done with now and then get into free air, all going well. That looks like, that's not Ryan O'Sullivan in the pits. It is Ryan O'Sullivan in the pits. He's getting his pit, oh, he's going to get it done early. As is, that looks like Costa as well, who wasn't involved at the start of this one here. But while I'm talking about that, back on with this one here, Castellano has pulled out a little bit of a gap now on Pavlov. Glenn Smith behind that though, Fantanuzi. You've got Spatuzzi, you have Sagaro, you have Sawanaski, and of course John Dudley there. So that's a train and a half going on there. Behind that then, Holloway, Red Farm. You've got loads of these guys giving it absolutely everything. It looks like we've had a disconnect from one of the drivers though. I don't know which driver that was, but it looked like it was in around the P5, P6 area. So it'd be interesting to see who that was and what happened. Looking back further, Chris Desi doing a good job there in P14, having to let off there. So in terms of positions gained at the minute, Chris Polycott's up 13 positions. Chris Desi's up 3, Augusto and Holloway are up 7 each. Spatuzzi's down 1. Ryan O'Sullivan's now up 2 positions after the pit stop. Dominic Giese just leaving the pits. Costa only still in the pits at the minute. While I'm talking about that, you have Polycott here under massive pressure. That looks like there from Langley. Saginski and Aaron Holloway got a great overtake done. Let's have a quick look at that one really quick on the inside. Aaron just has to let off. Nothing you can do there with that one, although he tries to fight it around the outside, does Holloway. A little bit of banging and touching, but that's all part of racing. And on there now as Chris Polycott, looks like he's got by Sazinski. This is absolutely... Oh, Morris Bhutan is back in. I'm wondering what's the crack there with Morris Bhutan. Did he pit or did he have a moment or what's going on? Maybe it's just a game acting the maggot. He's now P29. Maybe Morris Bhutan disconnected and rejoined. I'm wondering, is that what that was? So Fantanuzi there doing a severely good job trying to defend from, it looks like, Young. And doing a very good job. What was the WTO? What was WTO car? What? Oliver, I don't know what you're saying, bud. There's stuff happening everywhere. So there's Porkashov from Castellano, from Pavlov, from Glenn Smith now, and then Fantanuzi next. Daryl Young, Spatuzzi. You've got John Dudley, Red Farm, Aaron Holloway down in P10. P11 is Krupsezi, Augusto Jr. in P12. Sanowski in P13. Then P14 under a lot of pressure is Langley from Polycott, from the other two Polycotts actually, Chris and Andy. Then you've got Terry Dunn, Anonymous Rat, Liam Smit, Ben Shawley, Chris Vining. Just unbelievable stuff here, guys. There's close battles at the minute here. Veronese behind with Barry Dunn. Then a bit of a gap down to Usmanov and Nathan Warren. Terry Dunn, the anonymous rat, looked like they were swapping positions there. Go back 15 seconds to have a quick look at this one here. So the job was done before the replay, of course. Unfortunately, it's so hard. Wild Things Racing. Where? I'll have to have a look for you. Probably was at one stage. So Pistol Rat. So we jump back on now. So who is in the Wild Things Racing car that you're talking about? Next level 2 ID. Scooter. Wild Things Racing. It is. It's Daryl Young in the Wild Things Racing car. Sorry, trying to remember all the names. So yeah, Daryl Young is racing in that. Looking back further, oh, Liam Smit getting by anonymous Wrath there. Very, very good job there. Oh, very wide. That was Ben Shawley, but he's got away with that one there. And that's Ferranese then behind him. Ryan O'Sullivan, though, is ahead of Florian Lacroix. Dominic Geese out in P34. So Anthony Franti. So what I'm going to actually try and do now, while it's kind of settling down a bit, is look for the incident where it put like Dominic Geese back, Chris Tedder and that as well. So let me have a look, because there was a lot of contacts. So let me see. I'm assuming it might have been this one. So that was a BMW into a McLaren. So maybe it was this one here. No, because that's still on that one. So it was a BMW into McLaren that set that whole thing off. Was it this? No, because that was after it. We have to find out where that was. But anyway, we'll come back to that later on, because that was crazy. Absolutely crazy. I don't understand what was going on. Going back into this here, so still Porkshov from Tuesday. Let's go back here, because Red Farm under a bit of it pressure there from Kipsezi, and then Holloway there keeping the pressure on. Although a little bit further, that looks like Spatuzzi and Daryl Young still quite close as well. Interesting to see what's going on here. But I'm going to go back onto Ewan as well, who is under a little bit of pressure from Chris Polycott, but also he's trying to apply the pressure on Swansky ahead and Augusto Jr. So Chris Polycott doing a great job, and then there's a little bit of argy-bargy here. How does Liam go here? Finding on the inside. Oh, Ben Shawley trying to shove it up the inside. Nudges the back of Liam, and then Ben gets very loose on the exit. Very hard racing from these guys here, and I don't mind it, Ben. I don't know why you're flashing. You were at fault there, buddy, not him. And that's Langley in the pits. That's you, and that's another top tier TTM. So good to see you back in as well. It's 2 TTM boys in. I thought it was only one. Chris Header doing a good job there as well. Kripsezi and Holloway. He nearly got by Holloway, but then again, that Nissan might be able to outdrag him. Let's see how this goes here. Aaron goes to the defensive line, although you can nearly say that was a bit more of a dummy move as well on Redfern, as it looks like then was that anonymous rat under a bit of pressure from Beamer. It was, and Shawley there behind. It's just anywhere I'm looking, it's just battle. Liam Smit doing a great job. Back further even, you've got Langley there doing a decent job. Cigaro, though, is starting to find a little bit of pressure coming in the mirror, because Ryan Sullivan, you can see, is now within a corner's length of him. That'll be interesting as it goes. Anthony Ferrante doing a great job. Artem Osmanov now is catching up with, it looks like, Barry Dunn. Liam Smit, though, seems to have the better of Ben Shawley at the moment. Can he make that last? Then you have Andy Polycott with anonymous wrap behind. These guys are starting to spread out a little bit now as well. Looking back up further, Holloway tries it up the inside and is going to get it a bit wrong. I would say here maybe Kripsezi might have a strong chance now, because Aaron wouldn't have got the best of exits, although his exit himself would have been impeded as well. So let's see how that goes, as it looks like Morris Boutin P26. So we're after having someone else. Oh, it's happened. They need to hold the brakes now and be safe about this. Grand to get going, that's the main thing. Right, let's go back and actually see that again. And it was just a touch under braking, and then the touch back then that happened. So that's unfortunate. Of course, the stewards will look at it after the race, but they just had to get out of the way. And Chris Finan, very unlucky, is going to lose a position there to Liam Smit. Although for Liam Smit, that's absolutely heaven. Oh, wow. Let's go back and have a quick look at that. Sorry, guys, but that was a random one there. So on with, was it? Finan just lost it by himself, did he? There was some sort of a weird tip there. We'll have a look at that. Stewards will look at that after the race anyway. But that was unusual to see. Konstantin Pavlov P3, Castellano P2, but Porkshaw was pulled away a little bit. So good stuff for them. Glenn Smith's having a very good race in P4 as well. He's not too far off. Antonuzzi just right behind as well. Darryl Young hasn't dropped off too much either, Spatuzzi. Then you have Mr. John Dudley, and then Redfern now has quite a nice little gap then to Matthias here, so that's really good for him. That's really good stuff there, and Augusto Jr. doing a very good job. I'm just going to jump back on here with Terry Dunn. Oh, as he was going to go for a move on Andy Polycott. He's still going to go for up the inside, has it there, has to kind of slow a bit more for Anonymous Rat. Oh, and then that just looks like a few of the guys behind getting a little bit cut out. Liam giving the place, it looks like back, just in case he was going to be able to go for it there. Liam's indicator stuck on. Then behind him is Ben Shawley and then Aaron Holloway. Bench, oh, what's happened here? Go back. It's easier to do. Oh, Liam just got the braking slightly wrong. Gupsezi, oh, mate, that was unlucky. Hard racing today. So Vining's in the pits. It's good to see Costa has been able to get going and get back into it. Morris Boutan, of course, with the disconnect, it looks like. I don't think he's got a pit. Oh no, Morris pitted. I thought he disconnected. He pitted. My apologies, Morris. Fantanuzzi still doing decent, but I'm going to jump back on with this. Augusto is still ahead of Collicott, but Red Farmer, ooh, that looked like Matthias got a little bit out of it. So John Dudley's kind of settled down into P7, although Darryl Young cannot settle down because Spatuzzi here is right behind him and giving it everything. Love the W13. Don't bring in such shame to the 101 car. I think Dom was quite unlucky. Let me see the replay of what happened there, Oliver. Where is the 101? Or did he just... There were so many contacts at the start. Jesus Christ. Dreading doing... Yeah. Jesus. The amount of contacts that we have to go through. That's definitely not going to be done tonight. Absolutely not. Right, back into the racing instead of me looking at other incidents and stuff. So, Fantanuzzi, of course, still doing a good job, but now look at this. Batuzzi is right there. Actually, or Fantanuzzi is right there with Glenn. Apologies. So, Glenn is under a bit of pressure here. 0.2 of a second now, the gap. Both in the same machinery, though. But Glenn is consistent. He needs to be able to take this pressure. Repping the 2ID team, of course. I think that was originally set up by himself and his brother Liam. Of course, they've got Matty gambling there, but Matty's on a vacation in his TD04 Turbo Bora, smoking and poking around Northern Ireland at the minute. So hopefully we'll see Matty back in a racetrack soon, even if it's not with ourselves and one of the other affiliate communities. I'd love to see him back. Yeah, 15 minutes into this race, quite an awful lot of action has happened. Let's go on here with Polycott, Rat, then ahead of them. Barry Dunn is now behind. Let me see what else is going on in the world here. Augusto is ahead. Oh, Aaron Holloway looking for a move there, but thinks the better of it. Of course, he is a teammate to these guys. Nathan Moran up now into P18, so that's not too bad for him at all. Of course, after not ideal qualifying, of course, both of these cars look like they're carrying a tiny little bit of frontal damage. Usmanov more than some. Kripsezi Of course, as well, after having his tap is now down in P21. That's unfortunate for him. Chris Tedder, I think, was held up. I didn't get to see much of what happened with Chris Tedder. I just see contact, but it doesn't say exactly where. So if I go into it now, 999. Let's go back for a replay to see what happened, Chris. But I think at that stage he was already at the back. Yeah, no, he was already at the back. Nothing to see there at all. Okay, Augusto Jr. is now into the pits, while I'm him and Han looking at everything else going on. Stuart Pryor, though, having a good race. Well, he started at the back. Dominic Issa. Then Barry Dunn's in the pits with huge damage. Ryan O'Sullivan is doing well. Augusto Jr. staying going. Ryan O'Sullivan up to P24. So starting pretty much at the back of the grid. That's unbelievable. So Giuseppe Castellano and Fantanozzi both have the fastest lap. A 1:28.395, by the way. I forget to keep showing some of these facts out and trying to keep an eye on everything that is going on in this race here today. Vincenzo still putting the pressure on Darrell Young, and unfortunately for him, to no avail. So Red Firm has a back marker now in the way of him and Dudley, but Matthias is right there. I do like the big brain cars. I like the orange and black, is just a nice colour scheme. It's good to see them guys out there doing a great job. Anonymous Rat, though, is leading in the Pro-Am category from Chris Polycott and Terry Dunn. Then there's Liam Smit, Stanek, Ferrante, Shawley, Verzone, Augusto Jr. and Barry Dunn. Now, Augusto Jr., I'm pretty sure, has pitted, also as Vernies. Ben Shawley's pitted. Anthony Ferrante has not pitted. Stanek has not pitted. I don't think anyone else has, after P20. So it'd be interesting to see how that goes. Terry Dunn, though, under a little bit of pressure here from Chris Polycott. Aaron Holloway is coming into this one as well. And I'm sure that's going to get quite spicy as it continues on. Grupsezi is trying to stick with Chris Tedder at the minute. Morris Bhutan in his own little thing. And Liam Smit from Sigario. And I'd say Sigario's livery is absolutely beautiful as well. It's very simple but really, really nice. Stands out massively. So given a little bit of a flasher there. Don't know why he's still continuously flashing down the straight. Liam is still doing well ahead. Jumping back onto Glenn, who was under a bit of pressure from Antinosi. It seemed to have weared out a bit, but Glenn now starting to pull into Pavlov as well. So while he's getting pressure from behind, he's actually improving up as well. So very good stuff from Glenn Smith here this evening. And let's see how that one continues. Looking through all the other drivers. And it's just looking, some of them are a bit gapped out. Then you've got Stanek here with John Dudley behind, so Stanek's going to have to blue flag his way out of the way. I would assume he's going to let him by. They're not even in the same split, and he does indeed, so that's nice to see. Then Vernies, Augusto Jr., Costa down. Did he go into the pit again? No, he must have had a moment that I missed because I'm going through everyone. As Cripsezi is in the pits now. Barry Dunn then has Pryor behind him, but Barry Dunn is a little bit off finding then that's ahead. So going to jump back onto a gap that is quite close. Although now you see Pavlov has pulled back out, but look at this one here. Glenn has Darrell right on his tail. Or Spatuzzi right in his tail. Or Pantanozzi. Getting all these names wrong here to save him. I'm going to keep an eye on this one here. So that's what, about 3 and a bit tense. But also Spatuzzi has got by Darrell as well, actually. So let's get him very close there. Will the Beamer, even though it's heavily bopped, be able to get the drive up now on Mr. Spatuzzi? There's so much stuff happening here. And no, Spatuzzi keeps it ahead. Much nicer line through there. Although his exit wasn't A1, but he'll be alright to fight another day. As Dudley going with them, looking at that ahead. Red Firm, though, is still under quite a bit of pressure, it looks like, from Matthias. Matthias not dropping away. Matthias is going nowhere. Aaron Holloway with Terry Dunn about 0.2 of a second, as they would have cleared, it looks like, Chris Polycott. Terry Dunn's up 20 positions, by the way, which is interesting to see. So Holloway runs a little bit on the wide side there. I'm just going to go back though to Chris Tedder. It looks like Tedder is getting close to Mr. Nathan Warren, it seems, as he got the job done on Usmanov. Oh no, it's Nathan Warren, sorry, he's getting close to Usmanov. I keep swapping everyone around here. Morris Bhutan down behind there. So you've got Amigos versus all the supercharged. Chris putting the pressure on Usmanov now anyway. Gets a nice line through there, carries good speed as well. I think Chris, even if he struggles in qualifying, he seems to pull together a decent race. And it's looking like he's doing the same here this evening, which is really good. It was Craig Hewlett that went, so his GPU was limiting to only 50% into the server. Craig Hewlett, just unfortunate there. So Tedder, though, looks like he's got the job done now, as Usmanov not overly fighting the position, but just enough. Chris gets on the brakes a bit. I think, was he anticipating a tight squeeze? Like, he was left enough room. Chris just being cautious, I'd say that was. Just in case. Florian now gets bikes, and almost Rat is in the pits, and away Rat goes. I know he thinks I sound like I'm calling it Rat. I mean Wrath, as in the Wrath. I'm just not British, I don't say it all polite like that. So yeah, Glenn still there with Fantinosi, and not too far off Pavlov. Pavlov being kept honest, and Giuseppe Castellano's keeping Porkishoff honest quite much as well. Like, at the end of the day, he's only 2.5 seconds off. It's not a major thing. And so Glenn Smit now gets the fastest lap of the race. Last lap at 1:28.387 there for him. So Glenn's really starting to get into a rhythm here now, even though he's been under pressure all of this time. It's really not affecting him. You can see he's just giving it every single thing there. And Fantinosi now just doesn't know. I'll tell you one thing, Glenn's getting very close to Pavlov. Pavlov probably isn't liking that view at the minute. Although that Ford is just such a beast once it gets moving. It's absolutely crazy. Terry Dunn and Holloway swapping positions. Holloway was going to probably look for the move back. He's going for the move. He's gotten the brakes a bit late. Terry's giving him the room there. But Holloway will have a slightly worse exit than Dunn. And Dunn gets that move nicely. Knocks a car onto the grass a bit. That looked like... Oh... Jesus. Cars everywhere there. That Lamborghini absolutely nearly wiped out poor Chris there. Luckily Chris was able to avoid that there. So just getting through the back markers at the minute, and the back markers just need to be a little bit aware not to be just swinging across the track like that, because that could have been absolute murder, as that looks like Nathan Warren leaving the pits there now. So jumping back on here, Fantinosi from Glen. This is super close here. This is close to have seen it. Fantinosi is going to have maybe a slightly better exit than Glenn this time round. Bit of flashing going on here now from, that was Castellano to one of the back markers. That looked like one of the Polycots. So Glenn Smit under pressure now. Fantinosi's fancying up the inside. Glenn has that covered for now. That's really good driving from Glenn. Fair play to him. Spatuzzi has, that's Kribzezi just ahead of him. Pavlov gets a moment of a break there, and that looks like one of the SM McLarens. Is that... Costa gets by. So that looks like Warren, that there behind now. So that's P25 it is. So fair play, they're absolutely flying out there. Of course, Nathan Warren has pitted as well. So let's see how that does go. But Glenn Smit, Fantinosi, Pavlov. Ooh. Nathan's going to try and keep out of the way. So that's Glenn now on the inside. Nathan's on the outside. Spatuzzi there. Oh, nice one, Glenn. Beautiful stuff. So Glenn still there. This is a great battle. Redfern under pressure here now from Mr. Matthias as well. They're trying to keep an eye on everything that's going on. Then you've got Dunn and Holloway swapping positions as well. And then you've got Chris Podicott in it. Redfern though is under massive pressure here from Matthias. And these big brain racing drivers as well are super good. So be interested to see how this one goes. That's a bit of a move there from Matthias. And then Redfern, Matt is doing a great job. Held the outside line. Tucks back in, looking for a bit of a toe. Let's see how this goes up. He's a little bit too far back. That BMW seems to have the legs, even with the 26 kg bop difference there. Fantanozzi and Smith. Literally, it's nearly like they're one car at this stage. Let's see how this goes. We go on to the second camera now, get a bit of a better view there. Fantanozzi doing a super job there, keeping the pressure on. Jumping on with Holloway here now. He's kind of clear now as well, and Redfern is about 7 seconds ahead, so he's not going to be worried too much about that. I'm going to jump down to Morris Bhutan, who's now up in P15. Remember, he has pitted very early in this race, and he's already back up now to P15. Chris Tedder is about half a second clear. And of course, while Tedder hasn't pitted and Morris has, I do have a feeling Chris wouldn't really hold him up too much, as they're on two different races. Me and Chris definitely hold that ethos there, so I'll be interested to see how he does go about that. As Smith has been overtook by Fantanuzzi. Let's go back 30 seconds to get a proper view of how this built up. So you see Smith under pressure going into the second last corner there. And how does he take the last? Oh, he gets the last corner slightly wrong, and that was just enough. Just enough to let Fantanozzi by. Glenn knows he has pace there, so he can come back at him there. But that was a slight misjudgment. And Glenn tries to send Fantanozzi wide, but it worked where Fantanozzi kept the shoe in though. But Glenn will be looking to recoup himself and then give that another go there now. Morris Bhutan is still about half a second or so. I'm going to go back to Sagaro here with Ryan O'Sullivan. These guys having a bit of a battle here now. Then Ryan O'Sullivan not too far off. Usmanov as well. He's about a few seconds. Off for 4 or 5 seconds. So that'll be definitely interesting to see how that goes as the race does develop on further. So Sagaro as well, doing a very good job there. And Sagaro has pitted, as has Ryan O'Sullivan. So all these guys that have pitted are starting to come up through the pack quite nicely now. I think that was a super smart move by Ryan to get in the pits there, not get held up all the close racing at the first lap or so, and get into a bit of free air. So that was super smart from anyone who pitted on the first lap or the second lap, just to get out of that hard air. Very good. So Dominic Issa here is doing a nice little job there as well. He's on a recovery drive as well. And Terry Dunn and Anthony Ferrante swapping positions there. Anthony Ferrante though still doing a great job in his split. He is P3 currently in his split, which is really good. So well done, Anthony. That's what it's all about. Fair play. So Castellano is 2.7 seconds off Porkchop. Pavlov is 1.9 seconds behind. Fantanozzi is about 1.3 seconds off, 1.4 seconds off now it looks like. So it'll be interesting to see how that does go. Spatuzzi then is a bit off these guys at the minute. So let's see how that one goes. Looking through the rest of the gaps at the minute, I know kind of at the back I want to give everyone a bit of a look at as well. You've got Dunn by himself there, Augusto putting flashes on to Kripsezi, that seems, but you know, Augusto, while he is seeming faster, Kripsezi, if he's ahead, doesn't have to do it. Anthony Ferrante's in the pits, Stanek in last position. Then we've got Vining Then we have Liam Smit, Costa, Cripsezi, Anthony Ferrante while he's in the pits, Ben Shawley. Drive through there for Nathan Warren. He will be absolutely gutted with that one. The track limits are a thing here and they will absolutely murder you. Anonymous Rat then from Terry Dunn. Then Ewan Langley, Chris Pollycott's now going into the pits. Florian Lacroix. Then we've got Cigaro, Ryan O'Sullivan, Usmanov. Then I'm going to go to Morris Bhutan. Then we have Chris Tedder, Andy Pollicott then ahead of them, with Aaron Holloway a bit up the road from him. And then we have Matt Redfern, who's actually dropped off a little bit from the BMW of of Szymanski, who's actually now just after overtaking Dudley, just ahead there into the last corner. But Dudley's not giving up. He was kind of showing the nose, maybe seeing would he break him a bit, but that's not worked out. So it'll be Dudley P9, then Matthias now P8, Daryl Young is in P7, Spatuzzi P6, Glenn is in P5, Fantanozzi is into the pits, so Glenn goes back into P4, then Pavlov P3, Giuseppe in P2, and then Porkashov doing a great job there in P1. Much nicer race for Porkashov today. Oh, nice little stuff there. Anthony Ferrante looking for a way that doesn't matter to him anyway. That's fine. Nathan Warren after the drive through down on P26. Possibly yeah, he should hold on to that. He should hold on to P26 at the very least. That's very, very, very unlucky for him there. I feel so bad for him there. But these things do happen, unfortunately, in racing. Drive-through cleared now for Nathan Warren, so that's all good, which is good to see. Looking back, Fantanozzi is now in the pits as well, but he's been in for quite a while. How long does he stop for? 32 seconds. It's fairly quick in fairness. Chris Tedder starting to feel a little bit maybe of a pinch from Morris Bhutan. So I wouldn't be too surprised if you see Chris maybe in a few laps time just kind of saying, right, get on, get away with it, I'm doing my own thing. Be interesting to see how that does go. And yeah, while that's going on, looking around, John Dudley about 0.8 of a second off. It's kind of spreading out a little bit now. Anonymous Rat though is actually close enough to Terry Dunn, so this might be a bit of a battle for us, as it is spreading out a little bit. Track temperature is 23 degrees with the air temperature of 17 degrees, so it's not overly warm. It's kind of nearly ideal conditions for racing. Nice sunny day, bit of cloud there, but absolutely perfect conditions as we are just past halfway through the race. Aaron Holloway decides now is the time to pit as well. Of course, he had a great race with Tedder here in the Friday Sprint Series, and that is, looks like Andy Pollicott down behind. It is interesting. Chris Tedder sticking out this time round. So for Chris, he does need to pit. Redfern then ahead needs to pit. Morris Bhutan does not need to pit. So for Morris now, it's all about just trying to pull those positions in. Holloway and Pollicott down to 15th and 16th at the minute. So where's Glenn in terms of Konstantin Pavlov? So Pavlov is just about a corner ahead. Yeah, I think a few seconds of a gap there. So Glenn unfortunately had lost quite a bit of time. As Tedder letting Morris by, no arguments. And that's beautifully good, fair racing, and that's what we like to see. Of course, Tedder knows the favour be paid back if it was positions reversed, so that's quite nice to see these guys working. And of course, don't forget Amigos race on a Monday night. We don't host any ACC stuff on a Monday. Get over there, though it looks like their league may be full at the minute. Ours is pretty much just on the brink about being full. I do have an extra kind of 5 to 10 spots than what the server holds because we never always get the full amount each week. So yeah, definitely give them a go. It looks like now Matthias has gone to pit, so Redfern's taking that position back, and Morris soon enough, I'm assuming, will take that one there as Morris goes past. Yeah, so be interesting to see where Matthias feeds out. So back further, Anonymous Rat and Terry Dunn literally just into the corner. Beautiful underbrake, and Terry Dunn leaves the door there. But yeah, that was really nice stuff there from Anonymous. I'm sure he's enjoying this race today more so than the sprint race on Friday. He got absolutely sent. I think it was him that got sent to Narnia, or someone close to him that was sent. It was another. Was it Roy? Alistair Wright. It could have been Alistair Wright. Usmanov and Ryan O'Sullivan swapping positions. Ryan, how did you do that one? Side by side. Ryan goes on the brakes a little bit later and is able to control the corner. That's beautifully done there from Ryan. Nice driving and good driving by Usmanov. Didn't try to over defend and kind of defend a position that was just not there. So good stuff all around. Ewan Langley having a great race here now in P17, is starting to pull back in the guys ahead as well. So it'll be good to see how he gets on. But I'm just going to run through possibly the full grid because it's not. Oh no, Terry Dunn is super close, it looks like, to Anonymous Rat here. Nearly can't split them. Rat just cutting him off. Terry going to go back to the outside. Rat needs to leave that room now. He can't be over squeezing it. Terry Dunn's going to try to switch back, it looks like. Just not going to work this time around for him, unfortunately. But very smart all the same. Very smart. So Fantanucci now in P14. Be interesting to see, does Glenn get back out ahead of him now? Glenn's in kind of fresher air. Liam Smit now looks like having a bit of a battle there with Stanek, it seems. While Lappin, I would assume that was. Stanek doing as good of a job as he can do there. Red Farm having a good race there as well. So let's see how it goes. So Morris Bhutan doing very nicely there. That's his teammate, it looks like, behind, well, in between Tedder and himself. Probably Nathan Warren. But what I'm really interested in seeing, so Glenn's not pulling into Konstantin Pavlov now. Pavlov has made a little bit of a push on Giuseppe Castellano. Giuseppe's pretty much stayed at the same gap for quite a bit of this race now as well in terms of Porkashov. Usmanov now under a lot of pressure from Dario Segaro. Both in the same machinery here. Segaro got a nice exit there. It looks like he's carrying slightly more speed, but Usmanov will have to leave room. And Segaro gets on the brakes a bit later and gets the job done. That was a nice clean move there. And well done for Mr. Usmanov as well by not turning in across. It's easily done sometimes. And Matt Redfern doing a great job there as well, I have to say. But I want to give everyone a quick shout out now. So I'm going to start off with Stanek, who is in P33 with 21 minutes to go. Juarez Augusto Jr. is in P32 with Anthony Ferrante in P31. Then we have Barry Dunn in P30 with Liam Smit in P29. Then we have Voining in P28. Costa in P27. Nathan in P26. Kripsezi in P25. Polycott in P24. Ben Shawley in P23. And it looks like Geese is just after getting a move done. Let's have a quick look at that. And Andy Polycott for P22 and P21. They've swapped around positions. Going in, that's a lovely drive up there from Dominic Issa. And Polycott sees it, lets him by, not going to fight it, and moves on with it. So that's great stuff there. That's what I like to see. If you know you're not going to be able to defend, why lose time? Just get on with it. Let him by. So now we've got Terry Dunn next in P20 with Anonymous Rat in P19, getting lapped there by P3. Then we've got Aaron Holloway, Ewan Langley, Matthias. Then we've got Florian Lacroix, Fantanucci, Usmanov, Degario, Ryan Sullivan, Chris Tedder. Of course, a few of these have to pit. Morris Bhutan up in P9 does not have to pit. Redfern, Dudley, Young, Spatuzzi, Glenn, Pavlov, Giuseppe, and then Porkashov. I just like giving everyone a little bit of airtime, so just so you know, everybody feels that they're being seen as well. Because I know when you're racing, it's nice to see you, but I do try focus on the battles and not too much on the leader. So, unfortunately for Audrey, probably won't get to see them for quite a little bit now, as we're going to jump back onto a closer battle. Let me see who we jump on with here. Let me see if there's one for actual position and not out of placement. Let's go back here. So you've got a rat, and that's Ferrante, but that's not for position. It's so spread out at the minute until I know everyone else who's pitted. So at the minute, it's hard to know. So Morris still has Chris Tedder there. Tedder, even though he's a slightly bit slower in terms of overall performance, is actually not too far off. In fairness, as I say, Chris Tedder comes alive in a race, and he's shown that here today, which is what it's all about. Of course, every car ahead of Morris Bhutan has to pit. So Morris could have easily got himself a nice little, I suppose, a little gap in between where it's not really showing Castellano or Porkashov what he's doing, and he's just focused on his own races. In terms of lap time, he is lapping quite similar to the leader, actually. Although last time around Castellano was slightly faster. Glenn Smith still actually holds the fastest lap of 1:28.387 at the minute. So Glenn Smith definitely has the pace if he needs it, although he's, in terms of gap, he's now 5 seconds off Pavlov. So yeah, that's kind of hurt him now that he's in the free air. So Red Farm is starting to catch Dudley. So this is a live race that's happening in terms of position. They're both on the same strategy as well. Apologies, just needed a drink to throw Troy up. So yeah, doing a very good job there. As I say, I do love the big brain car. And a fun fact as well, John Dudley, while known for Amigos and known for several major things in terms of sim racing with the guys, do you know John Dudley was the season 2 champion in our community? So in season 2, John Dudley was number 1. So that's really, really cool to see. And it's only then kind of in about season 4, or is it? Yeah, season 4 when we went into 2 splits. So Dudley held his own, and we know Dudley has the pace. So I'm really looking forward to seeing Dudley. Of course, he is using the Nissan GTR because he wants a bit of fun. And oh my God, he's putting on a good show for us as always. And what I love about the LFM Bop and Bops in general, you're seeing the likes of the Nissan, the Aston, I suppose you could even say the likes of the NSX. Of course, I used that on the Monday with Aaron Holloway. He used it on the Friday in our sprints. But it's good to see these cars coming back in. I know you're probably never going to see the likes of the Jag competitively, or the likes of the M6, the Retro, stuff like that. But it's good to see it all in. I'd love to see the Retro in a bit more. I'd even love to see the Lexus being used. The Lexus is quite unused still at the minute, even with the Bop. It's quite a big shame, to be honest. Back on Red Farm now and Dudley. I was going to leave it for a second, but it's close enough again. That Nissan though in a straight line. You see the Porsche on the braking is so much stronger. Dudley on the brakes, but you'll see the Porsche just reels them in. But then again, it's the minute you get that power down, that Nissan just seems to be an absolute tank and just shoots out of the corner. Normally I'd be saying that about the Porsche in terms of traction, but yeah, it's just one of those things. So Glenn Smith still doing a decent job. Castellano not doing too shabby a job. Still in around the same times, so very interesting. I'm really eager to see how this one's going to play out. It looks like Finan might be looking to make a move on Mr. Costa soon enough as well. While that's going on, I'm just going to have a look up further, see what's happening. And looks like in P16 here, Matthias and Florian are absolutely all over each other, should I say. Alright, some say though that Matthias found out that Lacroix actually has fresh croissants in the car and is actually pushing really hard to see can he get himself a lovely freshly baked croissant. Ha ha ha. Chris Tedder still yet to pit. So a lot of these guys still yet to pit with 15 minutes to go, or just under 15 minutes to go now. So I'm surprised that nobody's gone in just yet, but we'll be waiting. There'll be a darting of what, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So it's a 13. You're talking what, 8, 9, 10 cars still to pit. Yeah, you're going to see a dart of 10 cars going into the pit soon enough. Florian under big pressure. But holding it off, which is quite interesting. You know, Florian was very unlucky in the first race with a pole position, and then I can't remember what happened to him, but he ended up then in pretty much last position. It was quite sad to see. Like, the Beamer is so strong here. Is he going to go for a late break? No, he's just slightly too far back. He has to hold on, and that's fine. But he's showing that he's there. Showing that he's up for a bit of a fight. And that's good to see, although on the exit he's got a much nicer exit. Florian under a bit of pressure there. But holding off quite nicely, and that's what it's all about. Absolutely what it's all about there. And yeah, Matty's doing it. He's doing as good as he can do. He just has to do what he done with it was. I actually think it was Mr. Redfern, where you just have to kind of wait and force. Just a little tiny error is all it takes. What happened in McLaren earlier on with Spatuzzi? Just a minor error, and you could literally see lost about a tenth of a second, but that was just enough to let the car get a drive and get by. He just knows he needs to stick with that and just see what happens. But yeah, interesting to see how that goes. Going to go back to Vining now. 0.6 of a second now. Tedder was saying he just couldn't get on with the Mercedes with the front end. I know Dominic Issa used to love the Mercedes. Haven't seen him driving it in a while. Although he was a BMW man out and out though for quite a while. But let's see. I'm going to jump back on now with Mattias. He's about 3/10 off. And that's Darrell Young has decided to be one of the first in the top, or the first of the 10 yet to pit to make the dash into the pits now. Interesting. Redfern has gone into the pit as well. Now let's see where does Redfern feed out, because he was racing with Matthias a little bit, but Matthias has been not majorly held up or anything like that, but he has a car in head that he knows he's maybe slightly faster than, but has to sit there and see. That looks like that's Liam Smit then ahead of them. So Redfern and Young still in the pits, although Young is out. That was a nice stop for Young. 5-second stop. No tyres or anything there, just straight up. Wham bam, thank you man. And that was a 5-second pit stop. Morris Boutin done the same, that's a splash in that 6 seconds. Fantanozzi done a full tyre change. Wow. So for Glenn, that could be absolutely beautiful. Wowzers. So Redfern, where does he end up? He heads up ahead of Lacroix and ahead of... He does. Wow. Redfern done a really good job there, and he gets out ahead of Mr. Usmanov. And how long was he pitted for? Let me check in the pit statistics here. 5 seconds as well. Very good stuff from him. That was really, really impressive. Drive through though, no, for Chris Polycott. Unlucky, mate. These things happen. Ryan O'Sullivan having a mega race. Starting pretty much at the back of the grid. Now up into P9. Just so close for Chris Tedder for when Chris pits. Will take P8. So Ryan O'Sullivan having a mega race. After a race win last week, this will feel like a win. Aaron Holloway then having a little bit of a ding dong, it looks like. but not with a car on the same lap, unfortunately, as Young's a slightly bit ahead. So Aaron Lowe still within striking distance of Young with 10 laps to go. Drive-through though for Chris Polycott is very, very tough. I don't think there was any other drive-throughs. No, that's unlucky for him. Back up here, as you see there, you've got P13 you have to pit, P8 Chris Tedder, then Dudley the whole way up to P1, all you have to pit as well. And we're now under 10 minutes to go. So I would be definitely saying probably in 5 minutes to go you'll see the rest of them pitting. I don't think they're going to pit until they have to now. So Dudley has Kupsezi, of course, a lap car now going through. Ryan O'Sullivan though is catching Tedder a right in knots there. I don't see this being a battle that's going to last too much longer. Chris will just do the normal, get on with it, run a different race. Or Chris might decide to go into pits now instead of losing time, letting off slightly. Might decide this is my time to pit. Nope, he decides to keep going. Right, I'm going to go back to Sagaro now because Sagaro and Young are on a nice little bit of a battle as well, as Polycott's cleared his drive-through there now. This is mega close. Dominic Geese though, I'm going to jump onto him really quick. It looks like he was achingly close to getting the job done. And he got the job done. That's fair play to him. That is now done behind them. Done, I think, with the indicator letting them by as well. Wasn't really fighting it too much either. Gonna go back though. Sagaro, it looks like he is getting a little bit on the closer side here. So in fairness, Young has been having a really good race. Still out of position a little bit from the pits. Of course, that'll be all rectified soon enough. So Morris Bhutan is what, about 15? Be interesting to see. I'm not sure whether he's got himself onto the podium or not. I'm very interested to see how that's going to play out. Glenn Smith still holds the fastest lap of a 1:28.387. Wind direction is slightly changed there a little bit. Track temperature and air temperature stayed the same throughout the race. Still obviously optimal conditions. Slightly cloudy but mainly sunny there for them racing. So conditions have been pretty much A1 perfect for a race day, to be fair. And I've heard next week it's going to be maybe a little bit wet. Time will tell. So Morris here pushing on. Tedder was doing a good job, still keeping Ryan behind, which is very, very interesting. That's teammate now getting out of the way of Morris. Indeed it is. Nicely done from both of them. Yeah, so now nearly at the 6:40 mark. So still 1, 2, 8 cars to pit. So still a lot of change to come in this race, guys. So as I say, it could be anyone's by the time this is done. Statistic wise, the most places gained is actually Ryan O'Sullivan, up 26 positions at the minute, which is absolutely mental. So Glenn Smith has decided to jump into the pits. So he was racing with Fantanossi, and I reckon he's going to come out ahead of Fantanossi. I know Fantanossi has the fresher tyres now, but Glenn's been pitting quite decent. I don't think fresh tyres is nearly justified on this track. Ryan O'Sullivan, as I say, up going to be P26. 26 places. Tedder's up 19 at the minute. That's going to change slightly. Osmanov is up 12. So Ryan O'Sullivan doesn't come out ahead of Glenn. Glenn gets back out on P6. So Glenn only lost 2 positions there. So Glenn Smith, Antonosi, I don't know why he was in the pits for that long. So Glenn Smith is looking essentially at a possible P4 here, which is really, really, really cool. Usmanov now in the pits finally for him as well to get his pit stop done. Let's see then when he comes out. Chris Tedder, I'm sure, will be in probably this lap or the next. Well, they all have to be in the next 2 or 3 laps. Otherwise, they'll do a Chico lean far at the race end, get 180 seconds in game added on, as that's what the game does. I don't even have to do anything with that. They just get a hefty penalty. So it's really not worth getting 180 seconds over a 30-second stop. 35 seconds maybe with the driving in and out on that as well. Porkashov is in the pits. And as I say, that actually coming out of the pits now, should I say. So that was a nice splash and dash for him, and that was for 7 seconds. So Castellano could pull in 2 seconds here and have himself a tight little battle. But he needs to be given everything right now. Ryan O'Sullivan still with Tedder. I'm assuming Tedder might be in the next lap or so. As I say that, he's literally just pulled in. So Ryan O'Sullivan now up in the PA. And honestly, a phenomenal drive from him. Morris Bhutan is in P7. Morris ends up just a 1.5 seconds behind Glenn Smith. I still think that was a very smart move from him not to be getting involved in those mad battles early on. And it's definitely worth for Ryan O'Sullivan doing that. So Vincenzo Spatuzzi now is in P3. Chris Tedder leaving the pits comes out in P12, what is it? Yeah, so I think he's going to get out just ahead, it looks like, of Matthias, but Matthias might have the drive on him though. Will Chris hold on to it? Matthias though is still coming. Chris looks like he's just enough ahead where Matthias can't do much. Oh, that's lovely stuff by Chris. Very well done to him there. Oh, Matthias. So Castellano, Spatuzzi are in the pits. Castellano leaving the pit box now. So where does he come out? Of course, Audrey Porkshov coming across the line. Porkshov will come out ahead. How long was Castellano stopped for? 8 seconds. Oh, he's lost a second to him. Wow, okay. Spatuzzi's still in the pits. How long was he stopped for? 6 seconds. Dudley, 5 seconds stop there for Dudley. So now Glenn Smith down back into P4, Morris Bhutan P5, Ryan O'Sullivan P6, 29 positions, guys. I'm giving that man the driver of the day. That's a sick drive. That was a smart move. Of course, my boy Glenn Smith gets my heart. He might get driver of the day today because, in fairness, that's a drive and a half to be gaining that many positions. Of course, he started out with a drive through there for Ewan Langley. Unlucky Ewan, as that is Pavlov now finally coming into the pits. Now, Pavlov was about 5 seconds clear of Glenn. Let's see how Pavlov goes now. So this is the very last one to pit. Morris Bhutan though is catching Glenn at right knots as well. Glenn might be feeling a little bit of pressure coming on to the second last lap, or possibly the last, as Porkashov coming around the final corner. Pavlov going, but Porkashov should get out ahead of Pavlov. And I'm assuming Giuseppe Castellano will get by. Oh, I tell you one thing, Pavlov might have got the jump on Castellano here, which will be a huge shock. He's got out ahead of the back marker, that's Kozezi. Oh, Pavlov has got ahead of Castellano 3 seconds faster in that pit stop. That was great stuff there from Pavlov. Couldn't be making this stuff up there. Now we've got Bhutan up on the back of Glenn Smith with essentially one more lap to go after this. Porkshov, yeah, he's far enough around. There will be one more lap. So Bhutan has a chance. Back further, Ewan Langley has a chance to at least serve his drive-through. Yeah, he's in the pits. Wow. That is absolutely unbelievable stuff here. Looking back further, Sagaro as well has one more lap and a bit to try and pull in a second and get by Darrell. But Darrell Young obviously is not an easy person to get by. So Darrell will be doing everything in his power now over the next lap or so, as will Glenn Smith. Although Morris Bhutan now super close to Glenn. Oh, one more lap to go, Glenn. As with 10 seconds to go, the leader crosses the line for one more lap. Glenn was probably hoping the leader would slow down because this could be a position change on the last lap, which will be hard to do. But Morris has done a great job as well. Glenn under pressure there now, but Morris sticking with him, and that looks like one of the supercharged cars. Hopefully they'll just get out of the way and let these guys race on. Glenn's doing everything he can do. There's nothing more he can do. Just drive the car to the limit now. Try to keep Morris behind. Morris putting the pressure on, all doing all he can do as well. Both of them there had minor errors coming through the corner there. I'm going to have to jump on with Porkashov though while this is happening, because Porkashov here has been flawless. He's led the race all race. Pole position and a race win, and doesn't seem like, from what I know anyway, he's been involved in that, and so this should be good for him. And yeah, wow, very, very good race. Pavlov, absolutely epic race, only 1.7 seconds off. Giuseppe Castellano then has to settle for P3. Smit looks like he's going to hold off Morris Bhutan for P4 then as well. So here we go. Audrey Porkashov, pole position and race winner, across the line this evening with Pavlov in P2. Then we have Giuseppe Castellano coming in P3. Then we have Glenn Smith coming home in P4, but Glenn Smith also holds the fastest lap of the race. And Morris Bhutan then a great drive in P5. And then this guy, Ryan O'Sullivan, my driver today, definitely P6, up 29 positions. Spatuzzi then in P7. Daryl Young then is going to hold it off Zagaro for P8, Zagaro then in P9. Fantanuzzi then comes home in P10. With Redfern then, a great job for Big Brain Racing, Ryan's teammate in P11 there, coming across the line with Dudley right behind him. Then Chris Tedder behind his good friend Dudley. Very well done for him. Then we have Matthias just behind Chris as well, so good close race there from them as well. Then Aaron Holloway in the background from them. Aaron unfortunately didn't have the same race he did in the NSX. Maybe the NSX might suit him more, and I'm sure we might see him back in it. Anonymous Rat though and Lacroix looking for one last bit of racing coming into the second last corner, but looks like Rat is going to hold off, and that's actually a split win for Anonymous Rat, by the way, with Florian Lacroix in P2. Or then after that, then we have Dominic Gisa in P17. Ben Shawley then P2, even though he's P18, is P2 on the split. Terry Dunn will get P3 in their split. Guys, that was absolutely crazy stuff. And yeah, really, really enjoyable. Our next race is going to be on Friday, and I'm really looking forward to that one. Of course, the race on Friday will be emulated next Wednesday as well. So just for you guys who don't know, I'm just going to let you know. So it looks like we are going all the way across to where are we now? I'm brutal with remembering stuff. So we're going to Barcelona for some paella. So some say I might have a spit of a rain, but I actually think it's going to be more so a little bit on the darker side. They've had it too easy so far this season. The race server will be live, or the practice server, should I say, in about 40 minutes' time. We'll apply the new LFM bot for the Barcelona race. But tonight's racing, guys, has been absolutely brilliant. I knew it was going to be good fun. Of course, there's going to be a lot for the stewards because the first lap was a few incidents there. We'll get to the bottom of that and we'll move on to the next race, guys. Don't forget to subscribe to the YouTube channel. Smash the like button if you can as well, lads and ladies. And don't forget about the event on the 15th of September. It's live on SimGrid if you're interested. Have a lovely evening, and we'll see you Friday.